attitude.
Johnny Carson made some jokes, but Linda Blair didn't find jail a laughing matter. How the devil did she get out of trouble? Actress Linda Blair tells all.
And don't let a romantic summer meal turn into a disaster. No, Heloise has some first aid for your stained clothes.
And we'll meet the dark side of obsessed fans and hear from celebrities who fear for their lives.
And easy, saucy secrets that's going to make your pasta go wild.
Yeah, we got a great show for you. Coming up next. Stay tuned.
With Linda Dano and Penacoli.
Hi, I'm Jerry Penacoli.
Hi, everybody. I'm Linda Dano. Thank you. Welcome to Attitude.
We have got a great show for you today. You know who's here? Linda Blair.
I know, and I've been dying to meet her.
Now, we all remember Linda from The Exorcist, right?
Yeah.
Want to hear imitation?
Well, you know, your head's around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but Linda has done 25 movies.
Yes, she has.
And she also is going to talk to us about a setup that she felt that happened to her regarding drugs. It's a real interesting story, and it also involves Johnny Carson. So it's going to be real interesting.
In an indirect way, yes.
Yeah.
Heloise is back. We're going to talk about tough spots. In fact, I have a spot on my pants. Let's hope that maybe she can help me out a little bit.
Did you spill coffee again?
No, something I ate, as usual. It dropped right on my lap, yeah. So we're going to talk to her. She's going to help us with summer things.
Also, we have a real serious subject for you. Have you ever been approached by an obsessive fan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
A lot of people have. A lot of people in the public eye have had this happen to them. We have a celebrity with us today who's going to talk about her experience, and also a couple of obsessed fans and some other people that are going to put a real interesting perspective on it. You won't want to miss it.
And, of course, Pasquale is here. You all know him from the Discovery Channel.
The guy that sings.
The guy that sings. Yeah. He's going to make 3 individual sauces for pasta, and I get to eat.
He's going to make all of them at the same time?
All at the same time, yeah.
Wow.
So,
I like that.
but before we do all of that, my first guest has been turning heads since age 11.
Oh, no.
I did, I said it.
You did.
I did. As a matter of fact, some people would say she's the devil personified. She says she's a good girl possessed by a bad girl image. And here she is with Joe Bob Briggs hosting a retrospective of her cult movie classics. Take a look.
We have one more Linda Blair movie to show, the first of tonight's drive-in double feature, and it's called W.B. Blue and the Bean. And Linda, gosh darn it, you're the girl that gets tied up and kidnapped again tonight. I think it's happened every week. You know, you want to explain this trend in your career?
I don't know. I don't know, but you know, there's a lot of other things to do, so I hope that the next one I won't be tied up. And
You're tired of getting tied up.
I'm tired of getting tied up, but this is fun. It's a fun film.
Please welcome Linda Blair. Adorable, and look, she looks so normal.
Yeah, well.
Well. Now listen, let's clear this up right now. You have had through the years sort of this wild girl image, and you think it's the press that's done this to you, or is there truth in it?
I think basically 17 years ago was when The Exorcist came out. And if people remember back, there's only so many movies out there. Only so many celebrity types. And so the press, of course, follows whoever is the most popular at that time. Well, for me, it's just, at 15, there was like maybe 10 rock and roll bands, and maybe like 4 of them I liked. So I went to a couple of shows. Well, of course, then I was all over the world. So people sort of blew things out of proportion. And, I mean, obviously, I dated back then, so it's like, oh, she's the bad girl, she dates men, and she's at rock concerts, and she was possessed by the devil, and she does these bad movies.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing.
Have you liked the way your career has developed?
I think for me, at an early age, I got to do some very interesting films, and at the time I didn't really think about it. And then as I got older, which I know we're going to talk about the drug issue,
right.
After I was arrested, which I had nothing to do with, well, all of a sudden, people thought I had a drug problem, therefore I didn't get the work that I wanted. And I'm 32 now, and I would say I've not done the films in the last 10 years that I've wanted to do, and it's very frustrating, but you do the best that you can.
The prison movies,
with,
that sort of stuff.
Well, and the thing with those is that both prison films were different scripts than what we did. And when you sign a contract and you go to work, that's what you know, that's what you show up for work and that's what you do. But they changed the story, and I had nothing to go back on. I had no protection. And so that's what happened.
Does The Exorcist haunt you? Because I know I was kidding before, and I said I'd love it if you could just spin your head a little bit, you know.
No, not you.
Oh yeah, you
wouldn't say that.
Is it something that haunts you throughout your career?
I would say that everybody has a different thought on how I would react to it. And for me, there's two ways. I could either say, hey, look, I've talked about it enough, and I'm not interested, so... Or I could be, you know, and then people don't have a very good feeling about me. Or I could just realize that each person hasn't maybe heard the answer, so therefore I take the time and will say, yeah, because I figure not everyone knows, and if you can rekindle a memory that fast in somebody's mind when they see you about something you've done, then that's the highest compliment of all.
And you did, well, you were nominated. I mean, it was like a monumental thing. You were a kid. You know, your career is interesting because you are in the area of the Jodie Fosters and the Melanie Griffiths. And yet your career sort of did this and theirs sort of went that way. Why though?
Well, no.
Why do you think?
If you think about it, both Jodie and Melanie, Jodie of course went to school for a while and was arrested in Boston for drugs.
Right, same thing.
And of course Melanie tells a story of how drugs put her on the street, and she's recovered beautifully, but I don't think Jodie really had a problem. But both of their careers picked up people love in Hollywood. They love the second time around, and isn't this great? And it seems to be if you say you have a drug problem that you get better work, and I'm just not willing to say that because I didn't have a problem. It's an addiction, and that's that.
So none of that was true, and Johnny Carson making jokes about it made you crazy.
Well, when I was 18 and I was arrested, I bought a dog from these people in Florida who were in fact sold drugs, and even though I hadn't bought, that was nothing. I mean, I bought a dog from them, and they later when they were arrested, I was arrested with them on conspiracy. And so when I went before the judge, he said to me, Johnny Carson was making a joke about it last night. You people in Hollywood don't realize the effect that you have on the kids in the street, etc., and therefore. He says, we have to make an example of somebody, and it's going to be you. And so, that wasn't real cool. But it's nobody's fault, and I've turned a negative into a positive. You can always look in the mirror and say, why did this happen in my life? What can I do? And I realized I was able to speak out on drug abuse. I realized what the drugs were, like alcoholism, a problem. And so I turned it all around.
Helping people.
Yeah, so it was like something that wasn't real fun for me to go through, and it really destroyed my career. I'm lucky enough, I'm young enough to hopefully everything will happen back then.
Absolutely. Who's your support system? You married? You have
No.
mom? What is it? Where do you go when you're really feeling down and out?
When I'm a Connecticut girl.
Are you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I've been in LA on and off for about 17 years, and it's not me. It's a real trying city. So I always come back to the woods and nature, and I always had this built-in healing system. But I've taken a lot of time to study nutrition and exercise and all of the things that help us to channel and keep positive energy. And then I go back and I share all that with people.
Sort of inside out. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about directors? Do you feel like you've been victimized by directors?
I think, well, I've worked with some of the very best directors,
right.
And then
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I've worked with some of the very worst. And I had a circumstance happen where I worked with a German director. Seems perfectly fine. And I realized during filming that this man did not like women. And not only did he do this to me, there was some rape scenes that it was just really awful. I felt like I had actually been raped, and I was crying. It was awful. And so, but because I have a little more power than some of the other girls, and what he did to them was just rotten, and that's not fair. And people don't realize some of this stuff goes on.
You ever thought of giving it all up? I know you adore and love horses. It's as important to you as the acting. Have you ever just said, you know what, I'm cashing this in. I'm not going to do this anymore?
I kind of did.
Did you?
That's all I wanted to do was ride. When I was a child, I worked in modeling and commercials so that I could save my money and get my first pony, and then I did when I was 10. By the time I was 12, I said to my mom, I either wanted to go to school to be a veterinarian or to train horses. And so I told her that I wanted to stop, and she said, fine. And that was when The Exorcist came along. Well, after The Exorcist came out, I went back to riding, and it became a business, and that's all I did. I traveled on the road all over the country, and it was wonderful because I got to see the country. And yes, I've given up work for like a year at a time and just ridden, which is sometimes people say, where have you been? And that was kind of where I was riding. Would I do it now? No, I feel I have something in my heart. I know I've got something that I need to do. And I feel that for 10 years I've been pushing for family movies, and they'd say they're not commercial, it's not good business, no, we're not interested. And I said, you're wrong. So people like Kevin Costner, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And he's opened the doors, and I just feel if I just keep going, and it's hard, it's an inner strength you have to have that just keeps you going.
We wish her luck, don't we? Yeah. It's a pleasure. You're adorable.
Thank you.
Jerry?
You know, tough stains. They might have you down for the count this time of year. Well, heavyweight champion Heloise gives our close a fighting chance. But first, Mamma Mia, hey, some trusted secrets for a quick and cheap Italian cooking. Coming up next, I wish you could smell this. Terrified stars are running for cover from their fans. Fans who will do anything to be noticed. Sometimes even murder. Fans upset.
When my next guest arrived in Canada with $8 in his pocket, he never imagined he'd be cooking for millions of people around the world on his own television show. Please take a look.
Now, what are we going to add here? A little vino, a red or white wine, whatever you have. All'alba quando spunta il sole, la dell'Abruzzi tutto
Please welcome the host of Pasquale's Kitchen Express, Chef Pasquale Carpino. Hello, darling. It's nice to have you here. Well, one Italian to the other. Where are you from?
I am from Cosenza, close to Naples, Bari. I call the universe a little village, and I name it the herd. My friend, your hospitality you give me to America, it's a dream I had since I was 7 years old. May God bless you, and the privilege you give me today, I cannot explain how big it is for me. But I share what God gave it to me, and working with this beautiful lady, we work as a family, and I do my best. And I hope you don't get tired of me.
I don't think so.
We're going to work.
What are we going to make
We're going to make it the Italian flag. So we're going to make it.
Italian flag?
Yes, we're going to make it Napoletana. We make it gorgonzola, blue cheese, and pesto.
And pesto. All at one time?
Okay. Now,
all at one time?
All at one time.
Okay.
I cooked the pasta, by the way, because 7 minutes. I'm at 7 minutes. Mamma mia.
Mamma mia. Whoa.
Solo per te la mia canzone vola.
Now, what do you want me to do? Start with this?
Onions, one onion here, please.
One onion,
now,
okay.
And if you be kind, the beautiful lady.
Yes.
Now, if you can make it, here, the pine seeds.
The pine nuts?
Oh, wait, like your grandma used to do it.
Yes.
Actually, we say, Mamma Mia always. And I believe once for we say Papa Mio too. You agree with me?
Yes, I do. Now,
Napolitan sauce when it been with the created like aftermarket. Oh, thank you very much.
do you understand a word he's saying? Probably not.
Yeah, okay.
But the food is fabulous.
Now, I have 3 cloves of garlic. If you use the 6, you don't need any bodyguard, so I use 1.
Now, where did you learn to cook?
You never learn how to cook.
You don't?
No.
How do you know how to
Because
cook
3
then?
things in life cannot be repeated. They are like sing a song twice the same, sign our name, and prepare a recipe. And now, can you please?
Yes.
Can you pass me the green onions for the
green
gorgonzola,
onions here?
chili pepper, and celery? Give me only 1 slice of celery, please.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
mamma mia.
Well,
Oh.
you're quick. Want that? Pasquale? I wish I could see your breath. Never mind. Okay, keep going. Keep going.
You
have to do this quick.
Red pepper. Oh,
Red pepper.
yeah.
Got it?
That's where we go. Hurry up now. A little chili pepper is too much because it's hot.
Careful of your fingers.
Oh, no,
Have you ever lost
it's
one?
not in a recipe, so
No? Okay.
So,
Now,
that's the
how did you break into television? Can you tell us?
Well, actually, I do. I study opera. Actually, study today, and I hope one day I learn how to sing. What I do is meant to be, and I owe that to all of my friends. I'm not talking like to make friends. I'm a father with no peers, and I've been hope to be MTV, but then they looked for me because it was meant to be. Now. And if I will be singing today, 2 cups of peeled tomato, the onions, the garlic.
Okay.
Oh, no. Well, a little nutmeg.
Okay.
A little-
nutmeg.
Yeah,
Really?
a little basil. If you have no time for all of the leaves there, that's it. Ciao, ciao. Arrivederci.
Ciao, ciao.
A little parsley, so. Oh, thank you. Oh,
Parsley?
okay. Oh, well, okay. If
You just put it in whole or you
everything.
chop it?
So if you have time, you chop it. That's
Okay.
what it is.
Otherwise,
A
it
little
doesn't matter.
A little salt.
Okay.
No.
Right, he cooks a lot like I do. Yes. Here you go.
I wonder a man where will be without a beautiful woman. Mamma mia.
Well, I could tell you a story. Yes.
We used the butter there. Yeah.
The butter? I gave you the butter?
Yeah.
Now what do you need?
Thank you very much. Thank you
This?
very much, Osai.
You need that. Cheese?
No, too much chili pepper because...
Oh, no. No, I didn't mean to give you that. Okay. Do you watch other chefs on TV?
No.
Oh, you don't?
All of the chefs in the world, they are numero uno.
What do you want, honey?
The butter...
The butter?
Okay, for the pesto,
Right.
Genovese, I like to cook the garlic for a little bit. So,
You want to smack that down
I
again?
want to make a pizza.
Oh,
Mamma
yeah.
mia. Oh, they run all over the place.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I have them. Okay. Italians don't care if it's on the floor. Right. All right, now. I love this.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, the pasta.
Pasta.
How many minutes do we have? Mamma mia, pizzeria. Let's go. The
Let's go.
quick. The butter. Yeah. All right. The butter. Okay, excuse. Okay, let's go, Pasquale. Let's go, Signora. Mamma mia, pizzeria.
Can you smell this?
The cream.
This smells so wonderful.
Okay. Vino.
Vino. That's right. In here?
A little vino.
A little? A lot?
A little vino. 1 minute. A little vino here. And taste a little vino.
Oh, thank you. Makes all the difference.
Salute. The basil, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we forgot. We forgot.
And I believe that whoever make a mess in the kitchen should clean it
Do
up.
you ever stir anything?
Oh, yeah, I know. We have a good fast part. Now, the part, we have no time. The basil there, okay. Salt and pepper there, okay.
Okay.
Salt and pepper here, salt and pepper there.
Oh, this.
Salt and pepper here.
Oh, I can hardly stand myself.
This is where nobody complains. Cheese.
Cheese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we use that.
All right.
Use that.
Throw that in there.
Okay, chop.
Okay, now let's set up our plate.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
We didn't boil it. No. Okay.
Okay.
No, we say yes.
Oh,
okay.
you put the pasta in the sauce.
Yeah, because we didn't boil it. In 7 minutes, we have no time. So, with that, voila. La. Okay.
A little La Boheme, please.
Gelida manina, se la lasci riscaldare, si trova. No. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Where's my pocket? Oh, yeah.
Red.
Red,
Remember we
white,
said we were going to make a flag?
Yes.
Red. I'll just put
not
it.
too much sauce because
No.
too much for the
Okay.
sauce.
All right, go ahead.
Now, and white.
White.
White. Kind of, yeah,
White.
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 That's enough.
That's
Too
enough.
much for the good.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
that's enough.
Right.
Okay,
Now you realize we're doing this a little fast.
Oh, we do.
All right.
We done. Oh, voila.
Let's eat. Would you like to join me?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay.
Please?
Now,
Okay.
What can we say? Now,
We'll just serve a little here on our plate.
No, I know what you say.
Right. I know you're dying, aren't you, out there? I know you are. I'll just take some of everything.
Buon appetito.
Bon appetito. To die? Oh. To die.
Salud.
Salud. Pasquale Show can be seen twice daily on the Discovery Channel. And if you want a copy of this recipe, and you're a fool if you don't, send the self-addressed stamped envelope to Saucy Secrets, Care of Attitudes, 34-12 36th Street, Astoria, New York, 11106. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Jerry!
You guys better save me a bite. I want some of that. Coming up next, another world actress, Victoria Wyndham, shares her horrifying encounter with obsessive star-stalking fans. Won't want to miss it. Come back. People have a celebrity that they wish they could get closer to, right? But when does admiration become obsession? Then, when does that obsession become violent? You might remember that actress Teresa Saldana, host of Lifetime's Confessions of Crime, was the victim of a brutal attack by a crazed fan.
Well, I think that most people who are actors must go on and must live their lives as artists and as people without giving into fear or panic.
Now, Teresa was lucky. She survived. But my sister Sam actress, Rebecca Schaefer, was not so lucky. She was shot dead by a total stranger, a fan craving her love and her undevoted attention. Joining us today is actress Victoria Wyndham from NBC's Another World, who fell victim to a fan's crazy obsession. Also meet Tom Figueroa, who is obsessed with being part of Liza Minnelli's life. Also joining us, Dr. Dan Martell. He's an expert who did a 5-year study of hundreds of people obsessed with celebrities. And author Missy Laws, whose book, Meet the Stars, is a step-by-step guide on meeting any and every celebrity. Please help me welcome them all, will you? So, Victoria, we'll start with you. Everybody, of course, wants to have fans. I mean, anybody in the performance arts wants to have fans who love them and adore them. Tell us how fans have become obsessed with you, and what have they done?
Well, first I have to say that in the 25 years I've been in the business, I found that the majority of audiences are very sophisticated, very understanding of the demarcation between public and private selves. But occasionally, they don't make that distinction, and then it becomes intrusive and invasive. In my own life, it's only been intrusive and evasive. Bad enough. And in one instance, at about 10:30 one night, when my children were very small, a collection of young people arrived at my doorstep and wanted to be let into my home. And they had convinced the local police that they were family members, because I had an unlisted phone number, and that they hadn't, they gave the police an elaborate story and asked for directions to my house, and they were convincing enough that the police gave them directions to my house.
It was that easy to find your house?
It wasn't that easy, and so they did need directions.
Yeah, but I mean, for the police to just cooperate like that and for them to believe them.
Well, they gave a very convincing story. It was quite an elaborate story, and I had the whole police department apologizing profusely for that. But I had to move, and now I left that community and now have a guard dog and a person who lives on my property.
This scared you.
It was an intrusion that is off-putting, especially, it's your home. I think there's a misunderstanding here. I think that people misunderstand why entertainers entertain. People believe that entertainers entertain because they're exhibitionists. That's incorrect. Most of the entertainers that I know entertain because they're not easy in private and real life, and they need the freedom and protection provided by an artificial situation in which to share their humanity with people.
Have your fans
and
ever...
once a fan intrudes into your private life, an entertainer is left with being invaded. And then that entertainer can only assume one thing from that kind of a fan. You don't understand me, and if you don't understand me, you can't be trusted. And I think that's the antithesis of what that fan probably wants.
Has a fan ever intruded to the point where he or she was violent with you?
Yes. Years ago when my character was very naughty, I was, you remember, a lady in an aberration started hitting me in a department store, and luckily my very strapping husband was with me, and I got behind him and then got out of the store, and that was frightening. Yeah. That was frightening, but she didn't immediately realize what she had done and then came over to hug me, but by that time
the damage was done.
The damage is done, and you don't want to be near them.
All right, Tom Figueroa, you are one of these people who is just madly in love with a celebrity, with Liza Minnelli. First of all, where does that come from, and why?
Well, I admired her since I was a child, but, I just always loved showbiz. So growing up, loving show business, and then watching TV and seeing Liza, she's so great.
Now, you love her so much that you, in fact, show us
I have
what
a
you
tattoo.
Did. He has a tattoo right on his arm here, folks. Can you see? Let's get a close-up of that. Now, when did you have this done, Tom?
I had this done about 11 years ago.
Yeah.
When I was 19.
Have you met her?
Yes, I've met her twice.
Was she scared of you?
No, not at all.
No?
Not at all.
She gave you a warm reception?
She was very sweet. She was very surprised. I have to admit, she was very surprised when she saw the tattoo. Yeah. She thought it was fake. So I said, no, it's not fake. Here, rub it. And she just loved it. She was very sweet, and then she acknowledged how much I really liked her. And I want everyone to know that I just have a strong admiration for Liza. Not an obsession. A strong admiration.
All right, Dr. Dan Martell, it brings up a good point. What's the difference between a strong admiration and an obsession, especially when that obsession brings a fan over the edge and commits, like, a violent crime, perhaps?
Right. Well, I think one of the important points at which you make the transition from healthy fanhood into something more dangerous is when your interest in the public figure begins to interfere with your social functioning, your work, your private life in some way, so that you're more interested in staying home and watching your star on TV than interacting with real people.
Has it gotten that bad for you, Tom, where you're that interested in Liza that...
No. I have my own life, and the Liza thing is just like a hobby. It's something on the side, something, fun to do, something extra.
All right, Missy Laws, you wrote this book. Now, I would imagine a lot of celebrities would have a problem with the fact that you wrote a book that tells people out there, the general public, exactly how to meet them, where to go, and how to approach these stars.
Yeah,
have
but
you found that?
You have to understand, I haven't found that at all. And you have to understand in my book, I specifically say, never go to a celebrity's house, never bother a celebrity when they're eating. You want to respect their privacy, because the whole point of the book is for them to like you. You want to date with them, or you want, to be their best friend, or you want to get a part in the next movie. So how do you tell them to meet the stars? Well, you go through a process of tracking them down, finding, their itinerary, finding out where they're going to be. You're going to meet them in some kind of a social setting, probably. Because, as I said, you don't want to intrude on their private life. You can go through meeting their friends around them first. You're going to act confident in yourself. You're going to dress properly. You're going to, you have to keep in mind that you have something to offer them, too. I mean, you can't just say, oh, they're so wonderful, and, why would they want to meet me? You have to say, no, I'm going to be a good friend to that person, or they're going to get something out of it, too.
All right. We're going to take a break. Victoria, before we go, do you have a problem with this book? Do you have a problem with that concept of a book where you can actually find out, like having a map to people's private lives, basically?
Well, I think I'd have to read the book to answer that more in depth, but from what she's just said, if it's an angle, I'd have to hear more.
Okay, well, we'll hear more right after the break. We'll come right back. Stay with us. We're back talking about celebrities and the fans who are obsessed with them. Please welcome back Victoria Wyndham from Another World, Tom Figueroa, who is obsessed with Liza Minnelli, or he says he admires her greatly, and Dr. Dan Martell, who is an expert in this area, and Missy Laws, who wrote a book on meeting and greeting the stars. Now, Dr. Martell, I have to ask you, what's your opinion on a book such as Missy's?
Well, you know, this is America. Missy certainly got a right to write a book like this. Personally, I think that in the hands of someone who is mentally ill, this book could be dangerous towards, you know, some of the public figures.
And that book could, in fact, get into the hands of somebody
it could get into
who
their hands
has a
and
problem.
essentially give them a map to find a potential victim. And I personally have a problem with that.
Yeah. So what are we talking about here? It could be a loose cannon in anybody's hand, basically, right?
Well, you know, I don't want to trash Missy's book. You know, I think what's more important is, you know, these people are out there in the public, and I think it's important for viewers that watch this show, you know, if you know someone who's overly concerned, who has a fantasy that they believe, that they have a special relationship with some public figure, to help those people get into treatment. You know, rather than trying to say, well, if there weren't books, you know, there's all kind of things. If they want to find them, they're going to find the public figures when they get that intense.
Yeah. What type of person might go over the edge and might become violent with his or her obsession?
Well, usually these are people who have a major mental illness. They have a fixed, false belief that they share a special relationship. Sometimes these are sexual or erotic relationships. They believe they're married to the public figure, or they're a business associate with the public figure. And they may get frustrated in efforts to contact if the public figure doesn't reciprocate their admiration and doesn't acknowledge the fact that, gee, we're married. Then they get upset and they may get vindictive.
Vicki, how do you treat your fans in general?
Oh, I love them, and I'm very grateful for their support. It's when they cross the line.
But, I mean, are you sometimes looking over your shoulder saying...
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean... It's a big world out there, and we've all seen what happens when people who are celebrities aren't alert about the few people who might cross the line and be confused about separating a public person from a public persona from the private person. And those few people make a celebrity want to keep a certain amount of distance.
Okay, I want you to comment on what Missy's about to say. Missy, I want you to defend your book. Say if it got into the hands of the kind of person we're talking about here.
Well, I mean, if someone wants to find a celebrity, my book is Common Sense is really what it is. And there have been a lot of people who have sought out celebrities who have never read my book. And there have been a lot of, you know, I mean, you could take a knife and you could say, I can dice tomatoes with it, or I can kill someone with it. You could say that about anything in the world. And I feel that because I advocate in my book, you know, that you want the person to like you. You want them to retain their privacy. You want to keep a distance so that they're not afraid of you.
But
That's
again,
the whole
if it
point.
gets into the wrong hands.
Well, anything can get in any object can get into the wrong hands and become something. I mean, I agree. I'm not for people doing, you know, injuring celebrities. I think that's a terrible thing, and I don't promote that at all. But I do feel that the general feel of my book is very different from that. And I do think that if someone just sat down and thought about it, anything that's in my book is total common sense, and one could figure it out themselves.
But you say in your book that you've told them ways to get around the person's security. Mm-hmm. Didn't that give you pause? Because what is the security there for? Do you think?
Well,
I mean that's always what it boils down to is where isn't there a line beyond which an entertainer is allowed to go off stage and feel a certain amount of security and comfort in order to come. Celebrities need downtime. They need to restoke. And if all of that downtime is spent trying to protect themselves against somebody who might get through the guard, they don't have that very important downtime.
But then that person would never meet you. Maybe there's someone who has always wanted to meet you. And I want to help people make those fantasies come true in a positive way. And it could be a positive thing for you. The man of your dreams, I don't know if you're married or not, could be saying, I want to meet her. I think that she and I would be, you know, a nice couple. And he might meet you, and you might be very happy that he met you. And it could work out.
I think that those situations work out better in a less artificial way. But be that as it may. The incredible invasion to me of any of that kind of tactic, I think, has to do with, certainly in my own industry, now I can't speak for all celebrities, but certainly in the entertainment industry, an entertainer opens themselves up and we share our most private emotional feelings in a very public way. And so, consequently, we have a very personal relationship with the audience as a whole. Whatever I do as an actress to touch you or move you is the best of me that I have to give.
How much of yourself do you want to give?
After that, I need time to restoke, and if that time to restoke is always intruded by the 1,000,001 people that want to get to you, because they think that you're going to be like that every minute of the day, and you can't possibly, and there would be nothing left.
See, there are a lot of celebrities who don't feel the way she does. I remember interviewing Penny Marshall about a year ago, and she was sitting behind me in a theater, and I turned around and said, "Do you mind if I interview you for my book?" And she said, "You know, I wish more people would come up and talk to me. You know, I think because they think I'm famous, they're afraid to come up to me, and I really wish people would come up to me." I've heard Bob Hope say that. I've heard Jay Leno say that. There are people that don't feel the way you do, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the way you feel about it.
I think it's the different, obviously it's a different thing you do. I think, I'm an actor, they're entertainers, maybe that's the difference.
Maybe
All right,
so.
we got a question.
This is for Vicki. I was wondering, how do you feel about the people that write the book with the maps of people, of stars' homes in them?
Yeah, that I find very difficult, and I would...
They're mostly inaccurate anyway.
I would feel very intruded upon. I mean, that your privacy, you have to have some place where you can just be yourself and be a mommy and be a wife and be a private person.
Hi, my personal favorite is Phil Collins. I have a friend who could double for him. I was just wondering, in order to meet him...
Are you obsessed with Phil Collins?
I have his pal from the last show he did at Madison Square Garden. It took 7 shows to get it, but I got it.
Would you do anything to meet him?
I wouldn't want to hurt him or anything. I would like to meet him, though, because he's very down to earth. He comes across as that. But I was just wondering if the book's on sale, because I have nothing that I want to go and attack or whatever. I would just like to meet him,
Yeah.
And this is healthy, right, Doctor? This kind of attitude.
I think so, yeah. I mean, again, you get into these issues that performers and public figures have private lives. And it's one thing if they're in a situation, they're on a talk show, they're signing autographs after a performance, that's an appropriate setting. But when fans start to encroach in inappropriate places, when they're showing up at their home, when they're showing up in their private lives, when they're approaching them in restaurants and this kind of thing, that's invasive, that's intrusive, that's inappropriate.
And would you show up at a restaurant where Liza was eating and walk up to her table, Tom? And feel good about that? Feel comfortable doing that?
I don't think I would do that. No, that's a little...
come on, Tom.
No, that's a little, I don't think I would go...
come on, you got a tattoo on your arm.
Something personal.
Good for him.
Or socially.
I think people in this industry, though, have to expect this a little bit. I think when you go into this profession, it goes along with the territory.
No, but that's my point. That's exactly
my point. You're saying it shouldn't go along with the territory.
No, it's the public forum that we're in now. I'm perfectly comfortable to talk with you now. If you were to go into your dressing room, I would no more open that door and intrude on you. So I don't expect it to be done if I'm in my dressing room.
If you were in the green room, though, would you feel okay if you were in the green room?
Yes, but if you notice, I wasn't,
I didn't notice that.
All right, Vicki, how much of yourself do you think your fans are entitled to?
I think they're entitled to everything that I give them over the tube, which is everything I am, the best of me. But I don't believe they're entitled to my private life that I share with my family, and I think that all of them know that. For the most part. It's just the very few that can't make that separation. And it's a separation. This gentleman just said something very interesting. He said, Phil Collins is a very together guy, at least he comes across that way. That's the operative. Maybe he isn't a very together guy. And maybe he can't deal with you on a private basis. Maybe the best that you're getting from Phil Collins is what he's giving you, which is huge. You don't do that to him, do you? You don't give him anything.
But hey, you got his
So why do you
towel.
have a right to go back to go back and expect more of that? More. The man is doing as much as he can for you by sharing with you his humanity through his art. That's what an actor does. That's what any of them.
That's what I appreciate.
Yes,
appreciate
but
about
when
him.
is he allowed to say that enough is enough? I've now entertained you for 2.5 hours. I've opened a vein for you. And now I need my time to be with my friends and hang out, you know?
Right.
You look at it. That's the difference. I look at it because I'm there and it's exhausting.
No, but you're
And
looking
unless
at it
you've
as if...
been me, you couldn't possibly know how exhausting that is.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, you look as if you give and you don't get anything in return from meeting your fans or the people out there. And the way I'm looking at it is you go to that celebrity to give something and you want to... It's a reciprocal
I get a tremendous amount from them.
I want to say just one thing.
Last word, go ahead.
But in general.
The fans shouldn't be embarrassed about going up to a celebrity and asking them for an autograph, because we support those stars. So fans have rights to go up and ask for an autograph, and the stars should in return show their satisfaction about our supporting them and give us an autograph. There's nothing wrong with going up and asking for an autograph. So we have rights.
Okay,
fans
folks.
have rights.
All right, and we've heard them loud and clear. Missy Laws, Dr. Dan Martell, Tom Figueroa, and Vicki Wyndham, thank you all very much for being with us today. Be right back.
Hi, this is Bill Cosby, and this is Cindy Adams, and she's going to get me to talk about things I don't want to talk about on Attitude.
Tuesday at 3 p.m.
You end up wearing what you eat, no matter what time of year it is.
And every season brings its cleaning challenges, doesn't it? Today, Heloise is here with some helpful hints on how to get out the toughest summer stains. Hi, Heloise.
Hi. Nice to have you back.
Good to be back.
Yeah.
All right, what are we going to clean up?
All right, what we're going to talk about is summer stain, spot and stain removal. The three most important things to remember are, first, get to it immediately. Do it as quickly as possible. The longer it sits, the harder it is to get out. 2, you always want to start with cold water. If you use hot water or heat, it helps set the stain.
What about seltzer?
Club soda seltzer is okay. Sometimes it's the mineral spirits, the mineral salts that are in it that help. All right, but again,
is that true of every kind of stain, though? I mean, because sometimes you put water on something and you'll set it.
And you'll set it. In fact, that garment that you have on, we have a lipstick stain on.
Vicki Wyndham kissed my shoulder. She wants me. What can I say?
Why did she?
And she kissed my shoulder, and I have lipstick there. How do I get it out?
Well, I was going to show, we have lipstick on this shirt here. Now, your people back here have done a great job. See all these stains? Lipstick.
There you go.
If you come home with it like that on your shirt, you're in trouble.
It means a wild fan. What that means. What that means. Yes.
But generally, these are things for washable garments, things that we do at home that you put in the laundry,
like
not cottons, blue jeans, t-shirts, not things that you're going to take to the dry cleaner. First and foremost, you always want to put absorbent material underneath the stain because it's going to go through. For lipstick on washable garments, you take rubbing alcohol, plain old rubbing alcohol, and you blot at it like this, and you'll see that it starts to come up.
Right.
And you keep blotting, and you want to remove the one from underneath because it continues to go through. So you have to keep doing that. Now, don't do what I'm going to do now to show you is don't do this.
See, that's what you're tempted to do because you want to get it out.
Exactly, because what it does. It smears it. So that's the one thing you want to do.
Now remember, if it's something like this garment, send it to the dry
Or
cleaner.
silk, things like that, washable things.
What about
T-shirt, this is iced tea stain. Now, most things like that, what you want to do is take straight liquid laundry detergent or hand soap that you're doing your laundry with and put it actually into the stain, rub it in, all right, and then soak it or wash it in cool water first.
Oh.
Then you can go on to the hot water removal. All right? You always want to use cool water because hot water and heat will set things.
Now, what if you don't get to it right away, let's say?
It sets, right?
No, not necessarily. You have to keep working at it. Just remember that it may not come out the first time, it may not come out the second time, but the third time it may come out.
What about bleach on things? If you just stuck bleach on it, will it come out?
No, because bleach
Oh.
removes the color. So you can't take a bleach spot out, but what you can do sometimes is color over it. I do it real cheap, like with a pair of blue jeans like that.
Right.
I have some little bleach spots on them. I just take a blue felt tip marker and color over the bleach
That's what I
spots.
do with runs in my nylons. I just mark on my leg up. It works. It's effective.
I'd like to see this, actually.
I would too.
The things we learn here.
Now, tar on a bathing suit, that's a common summertime
It's
stain.
a common summertime stain. Again, you want to use the blotting material underneath. You want to use dry cleaning fluid or spot remover and dab at it like this, and you have to keep working at it, and it'll eventually
Where do you
come
get the dry cleaning fluid?
You can buy it at most major stores. It's called spot remover, dry cleaning fluid.
It's
There
all
are
the
different
same
brand
thing,
names. Yeah,
but
but
it's
it's
all the same
flammable, so you have to be careful how you're using it.
Okay.
And again, don't do it on silks or rayons or your time.
Right.
Yeah.
Send that to the dry
Take it
cleaner.
to the dry
the dry
cleaner.
cleaner.
All right.
Heloise, thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Right? You learned so
Thank you very much.
Now, you should know there are more great hints in Heloise's book. It's called All New Hints from Heloise. It's a household guide for the 90s, which is available in most bookstores. So, thanks, Heloise, for being here. It's always nice to see you. Thank you. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back.
So you really mark up your black stockings with magic marker?
You just have to hit comment to get the marker on.
A lot of blue.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you
Thanks
tomorrow.
for coming. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
You end up with a lot of black marks all over your life.
Coming up next, he's spicy, dicey, and anything but icy. Find out what's cooking with the hottest chef in town, the Frugal Gourmet. Next, right here on Lifetime.